Hey, what's going on? I'm hanging out at the roof at the Palais de Congrès. Jason Rockman, official spokesperson from the Montreal Comiccon. And it's part 2 of our interview from a few years ago where you were stabbing me. Everyone was like, man, you're lucky he didn't kill you. Okay, I am very, very happy to know and to say that I had the insight to know that you were playing this guy before it was official.
That guy, yeah. No, Deathstroke was funny because when I actually landed the role and I got to the airport in Vancouver on my way to the production studio, I didn't even know what the role was. And my manager texted me, and I looked on the phone and I went, Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, that's not the name of the character that I read for in the audition.
Right.
Because they were keeping it under wraps. And then the guy behind the immigration desk went, oh man, are you playing Deathstroke? Oh man, he's badass, man. He's like the best. He's the most badass DC character. So it was a surprise to me as well, brother.
Now that you
probably knew before I did.
Well, as soon as you said the name, I was like, wait a minute, that's Deathstroke. And I remember saying that in the interview, and you're like, you kind of wanted to say it, but you couldn't. But now that the cat's out of the bag, and obviously, we've seen the character in the show. How much fun do you have with that character?
Oh, look, I threw everything at Stephen Amell. I mean, basically, I just felt like, the character had to be more powerful than him and had to sort of put him in his place, and that's kind of the way that DC wrote Slade Wilson Deathstroke, So I was fairly relentless in the way that I kind of like just drove my character into scenes, and I think, in some ways maybe Stephen was a bit surprised, but it's just, to make a strong character, you really have to step up, I mean, a lot of people will walk onto a show, like even with Spartacus, when I played Crixus, my producers came up and they said, Andy's feeling a little bit intimidated, in some of the scenes, but I believe that we had to be that full on in the role to make it really believable. And I go to great lengths to sort of do my physical training and whatnot, so that when I'm doing physical action with actors, and I've got a rugby and a dance background, I like to apply all of that physical skill so that it is intense and real. You can go into. You look at certain shows and sword fighting's like this and but if you're going to do it so that you can really shock the audience, then you've got to step it up another 50%, and that's what I try to do, which surprises some people sometimes.
Any calls for UFC 200 tomorrow night on who you think is going to win? Are you a UFC guy at all? You must like fighting.
Is Ronda Rousey in it?
No. She got knocked out a while back.
That's right. She got knocked out.
But listen,
Bruce Lee? Is Bruce Lee? Look at the moon.
Hanging out on the roof at Montreal Comiccon. He's going to be here all weekend. Manu Bennett. Come check us out at the Palais de Congrès.